On this movie I want to show you how to animate a car by using rigid bodies. With this method I will drive a car in 3D viewport in real time. To control car I will use a mouse and Python script. But don't be afraid, script is ready for use and just open it in Blender. I will not showing how to make a road because I recorded this a few months ago. To make a car I must go to first layer and add a cube. Shift A, S, Z axis and S, Y axis. Ctrl A and apply scale. Now I want to add a wheel, so Shift A and this time cylinder. And I want to make one part of this wheel white and second blue. To make that I must first go to material panel and add new. And add second. Okay, go to edit mode and select only one part. And I must choose this material and assign. Go to object mode, rotate wheel, R, Y axis 90 degrees. And this wheel will be called this BR means back right. And the same with this cube, cube will be called. And now I must go to physics panel and turn on rigid body. For wheel I will change shape of collision to cylinder. Alt A. Even if we cannot see a layer with sand, Blender still detect collision between these objects. Now I wanna connect this wheel to car, but first I will make Alt A, and you can see that this object jumping. Is that because Blender sometimes changing collision shape for objects. There is box, but there was mesh. And for road the same, there was mesh. Okay, now if I make Alt A, okay, everything is working. Alt A. And to connect these two rigid bodies, I must use something called rigid body constraint. First I must make an object, Shift 8. It may be a single arrow, and I must move this arrow to center of wheel. I will scale it S, and I must rename it. It will be spring. Okay, now I must go to physics panel and turn on rigid body constraint. And I want to connect car, so I must select car with wheel. And now if I make Alt A, we can see that these objects are connected. but I want change type of connection to generic spring, and now we can see that these objects are not connected and don't collide. To make collisions for these objects, we must uncheck this box. But we don't need this collision, so I can select this box again. And to connect these objects, I must set limits. First, I will set limits for location of wheel. We don't want a wheel moving along y-axis or along x-axis, only a little jumping along z-axis. So to run these limits, Alt-A, and we can see that distance is still the same, but wheel can rotate along random axis. We want a rotation along this x-axis, and we can leave this axis, but we must select this and input 0. Alt-A, and if I move this object, we can see that wheel is rotated. One more thing, I wanna add a spring for z-axis. There should be a very big number, and for damping, number should be close to 1. Alt-A. Okay, you can see that spring is working, but with spring is one big problem, is that even if this object will be not moving, I will select animated for several times. Even if this object not moving, wheel is still jumping, and I have no idea how to eliminate this. I tried at a random mass, random z-axis, stiffness, damping. I go to this panel, to rigid body world, and I add a higher number for quality of simulation. But even with this wheel is still jumping. Okay, so now we can select this spring, select wheel, and make a duplicate. Shift D. We must change the name. Now is back left. Alt-A, and I forgot about this shape of collision. Blender, change it again. Okay, Alt-A. And now if I change mass of this wheel, there is still the same. Even if I duplicate by using Alt-D, so this is these objects are linked now. You can see if I change in one something, that second is changed too. But if I change mass in this object, this still have old mass. Is that because rigid body properties are separated for every single object? So I cannot make Alt-D 1, 2, 3, 4 times, And to make that other wheels will copy mass from this, I must use drivers. So go select wheel, go to rigid body properties, and right mouse button on mass, and select add driver. The same for friction and bounces. Go to graph editor and change F-curve to drivers. Select mass and slide this. Okay, we must change something on this place. We can call this variable as mass or whatever we want, and we don't wanna transfer channel, we need only a single property, and we wanna copy this single property from this object, from this wheel, so we must choose it and path. To get path, we must right mouse button on mass and copy data path. And we must write in this place not a number but this variable. This expression can be more complicated. We can make something like that, but we only want to copy mass from this wheel. And now if I change mass, there is still old mass. But if I run animation always, we can see that mass is now copied from this wheel. If you use drivers, go to File, User Preferences, again to File, and check this box, Auto Run Python Scripts. Without this, drivers will be not working. Okay, and now we must do the same for friction, etc. So single property, we don't must change this name. Single property, wheel, and right mouse button, copy data path, Ctrl V, and of course name of variable. And again, single property, wheel, and the same thing we must do with spring. I wanna add a driver to Z-axis, stiffness and damping. And again, single property, this time spring, Okay, now we can select constraint, select wheel and duplicate. Shift D. And of course rename. Now is front right. And now if I change stiffness or whatever, then other object copy this property. Now I want to add a motor to this car, so Shift A, empty single arrow. G to move it closer to wheel and S to make bigger. And we must call this arrow as motor. I use this name in script, so if I change it, script will be not working. Go to physics properties, turn on rigid body constraint and change type to motor. Object 1 is car and second object is of course wheel. And we must turn on angular motor. Alt A, and probably you don't see how this constraint works. So I select car, I select animated, and now Alt A, and you can see that wheel is rotated. I can change speed, Alt A. I can change max impulse. This means power of motor. If I add 0.05, then we'll accelerate very slowly. If I increase it 0.5, then accelerate faster, and if I add 5, okay, so I must duplicate it, Shift D. I can change name, back left, and I must go to properties and change wheel. Alt A, and again I will add drivers. Okay, and now if I select this constraint on right and make Alt A, I can change speed. Okay, so I can uncheck animated, Alt A. And it's good time to add a camera, so Shift A, camera, Alt R to reset rotation, G, And I can go to camera properties and change focal. I can show other layers, and I think I should go to clipping and set it at 1000, because the line in this place is clipped. You see. And I must select camera and shift select this card, this cube, and Ctrl P, set parent to object. Alt A. Now I want to make a steering for wheels on front, and first I must select spring and turn off Z angle. Now I must add an object that will be control rotation along Z axis. Shift A, mesh. It can be every type of mesh, even it can be a lamp. It's only cosmetics. I choose a plane. And I must name this plane as wheel. We must use this name for script. Without this name, our script will be not working. I move this object to first layer M. Okay, I can hide other layers. I can scale it. Ctrl A, scale. And I must go to physics properties and add rigid body. I must check animated. And now it's time to add another constraint. Shift A, empty. This time I will choose a cube. I can change the size of this cube. Go to physics, rigid body constraint, and type should be a generic, and object. Object 1 must be this plane. Later I will show you why. And second object is of course wheel. And now we must set limits only on Z angle, 0 and 0. If I now make RZ, we can see that nothing happened. Is that because rigid body constraints works only when animation is playing? So Alt A, RZ, and you can see Alt A, RZ, notice, Alt A, RZ, okay, you can see what's happened. I can of course duplicate, even I must duplicate this object. I forgot to change our name, but first we must set a new wheel from right side, and name, steering, front right, and again 0, Alt A, RZ. Everything is fine, so I can go to physics and uncheck animated, select this plane again, Alt A, RZ, and you see everything is okay. If I change place of wheel and wheel FL, there something will be wrong. Alt A, you see. So this plane must be on top. Alt A, RZ. And now I can control steering, but I cannot control speed of car. To control both of these things, I must use a script. Before I open the script, we must make a very important thing. We must select this plane, shift select car and make parent, Ctrl P, set parent to object. Without this, later steering will be very strange. And now I can go to text editor and open mouse steering. On YouTube, in movie description, will be linked to download it. So in this tutorial we will don't write any line of script and use this button, run script, press space and write steering a car by mouse, select, and now you can see that a camera from 3D view is very strange. It's okay if you change view to this camera 0 and again space, enter. Now everything is okay. We can rotate only this plane. To rotate a wheel on front, we must of course make Alt A, space, enter. And you can see that script is working. I will change something. First, friction for this wheel. Second is power of motor. And I want to make animation much longer. If I write here 3000, then animation will be freezing on this frame. Is that because we must go to this panel to rigid body cache and change this frame to much bigger. Okay, 0, one more thing. I want to change shape of collision to mesh. 0, Alt A, space, enter. If you wanna make a car faster or steering more sensitive, escape, you must go to script again. You must use this button and go to frame line number 46. We have set self multiplier X, and this is making sensitive of steering. If I add a bigger number, then steering will be more sensitive, and multiplier Y depends speed of car. Higher number, higher speed. And you must use run script. Okay, and Alt A, space, and you can see that angle of front wheels is much wider. And I kill myself. Last thing in this tutorial, it's a recording of ride. So Alt A space and now you can see that yellow strip. This strip means that simulation is written to cache, but if I move marker I lose it. So again, and I must go to scene properties to rigid body cache and use current cache to bake. Now I can move marker, I can play animation, and I can render frame or all movie. Everything is okay, but if I turn on motion blur, nothing is okay. But I found a solution. First we must save copy of this file. And then we must select one of rigid bodies object. It can be a wheel, Shift G, and select group. Now all rigid body objects are selected and we can bake action. Go to object, animation, bake action. I wanna bake only to this frame. Okay, and now if I render frame, we can see that motion blur is working.